Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am so excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And this is my very first build with the brand new expansion pack, Horse Ranch. And I am ecstatic for this build because the first thing I wanted to do, I got the pack. I wanted to play around with it so badly. Of course, I wanted to start building, but I wanted to take my time. I also really wanted to prepare for my upcoming LP called Wrangler, which we will be using as kind of a means to explore this new expansion pack. So the first thing I had to do was I had to make a house for the family that I had in mind, and that was my goal. So this is what we're doing. And we actually start on I think it's a 30 by 20 lot or something like that, and we do move to a 30 by 30. I don't remember the neighborhood. I don't know the names off the top of my head. I haven't learned that much that fast, but we did move to a 30 by 30 because I just needed a little bit more space because the house itself was a decent size, but I also needed a space for a horse. Like I needed a little tiny barn, and I did not have the space to do that with a house this size. So we end up moving at some point, but not until we finalize a majority of the exterior here. I was trying to play around with like different shapes, trying to figure out what I wanted to do because this was my very first time seeing all of the build and buy assets as well, at least in game. I had seen the teaser trailer and the gameplay trailer, which did show off, of course, a lot of the different assets that we got with this pack, but I did not watch any early access content. I still haven't as of now. I mean, I have the pack, so I don't really have to, but I didn't watch any early access content. I didn't look at the breakdown of like all of the assets that were coming with this pack. I didn't do anything. So this was my first time seeing everything and trying to coordinate like colors and styles and textures and really just see what items we ended up getting was a little bit overwhelming going right into a build. I have to admit, I feel this way more often than not when we get a new pack that offers new build and buy, but it's super overwhelming for me to just jump in and try to build something. I often have to take some time to explore the items ahead of time. How many times can I say time in this darn voiceover? Anyway, I usually need to spend a little bit of time ahead of a build to explore the items and really think about how I can use them and what style I want to go for, but for this, I just wanted to dive right in. I wanted to kind of push myself, challenge myself a little bit, and I loved the end result. But I have to say, the roofing for this particular build was my nightmare, and I never want to do it again, and it's still not perfect. It's really frustrating, actually, because having a roof just go through this second story, when you're actually in live mode and you're playing with it, it does like clip, like the ceiling is in the way or the roof is in the way. So I was trying to break apart all of these different roof pieces and it made it better, but it really made the walls look funky when you're in like the, not the full walls being up, but like, what is it? Like when it's like half walls or something, they're not all the way down, they're not all the way up, but it's like when the half walls are there, the split walls, whatever the heck you want to call them. I don't know what it's called, but it made it really wonky for gameplay, but it's not the end of the world. It still works, and at least the roof is out of the way. That's what I'm trying to get to. But yeah, I really loved the shape of this house. I was using a ton of different inspiration pictures that I found on Pinterest because I don't really know what architectural style this is or that this pack represents. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know if it has a name. I don't know any specifics, but I was finding a lot of similar looking buildings when I was looking for inspiration. Specifically, I think I looked like Horse Ranch exterior, Horse Ranch with house. Like I was just trying to find something that would work and kind of give me some inspiration. So I found a ton of stuff, and this is what I ended up landing on. I loved it so much. Let me just say that the textures of these items are beautiful. Like the actual siding that we have there that makes this look like a rustic log cabin, the textures are so nice. It looks 3D. I love it. The wood textures are incredible. And you can see that we have actually moved to a bigger lot at this point, which works perfectly for this house because it's for my LP. So this is going to be for Wyatt Mooney and his two kiddos, Evangeline and Levi. And what Wyatt does is he rescues horses. He only rescues one at a time. And essentially what he does is he might rescue like a foal or a full-grown horse, and he just tries to train them up so they are ready for like competition, that they are really just trained and suitable like family horses at that point. That's kind of what I'm going to go with, because when you do rescue horses, I learned this much. rescue horses have what might be perceived as more difficult traits, because horses do have traits. So he actually rescued a foal in preparation for my LP here. The foal's name is Turtle, which is just really cute, kind of hilarious to me. But I believe that 2 of the traits are like aggressive and fearful or scared or something like that. So the horse is a little bit skittish and can be really aggressive towards people, especially people that he doesn't know, it seems. So there's like challenges with a rescue horse, as they have perceived as more difficult traits to kind of handle and work with compared to purchasing a horse. So I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, I don't know how I got on that. Oh, I know how I got on that rant, because this new lot here, if you saw off to the right-hand side, there's actually a space where you can go and train your horses just like out in the world. I think there are some jumps and some barrels. So it's perfect. I couldn't put it on the lot itself, but they're quite literally right next door to a little training area. And I was like, wow, I couldn't ask for better. Like, I literally couldn't. I'm realizing that you do need a fair amount of space to be able to have horses and stuff on your property, especially if you want like a bigger home for a family. So this was kind of the happy medium. There's a little teeny tiny barn here, as you can see, with 1 bed. I think that's all you need for horses. I don't know if you need a bed for like the goats and the sheep. I haven't played with them yet, so definitely check out like gameplay overviews if you're curious about that. But yeah, you put down the horse bed and they will just sleep when they're tired, and you have to clean it every now and then because they're a little bit messy. And other than that, I think all I got like the water trough and then the feeding thing as well. But with the foals, you can bottle feed them, and as their temperament gets better, you can like hand feed them. You can harvest prairie grass and feed them with that. You can train them to eat hay. I don't know, there's a lot going on, and that was what I discovered in maybe like 30 minutes of gameplay with a foal, just trying to figure out how to take care of horses. But it's great. So you just have the horse bed, and the barn was just big enough for that, which was perfect for me and what my gameplay is going to be. But you can see that we're in the debug menu here, pulling out some fence pieces to try to like fence in this lot. I also found this, it's like a little, like the head of a windmill. I didn't know this when I put it down, but it actually turns. So in live mode, that will be spinning around ever so gently, which is kind of cool. Now, when I was building this, the tool mod had not yet been updated because I built this the day the pack came out. So landscaping, let me tell you, landscaping was really, really difficult. I actually like how it came out, but you can see that these landscaping items that I'm pulling out, they're clipping to the foundation height. It was driving me off the wall. I was so frustrated, but it seems as though landscaping in this world can be really minimal and still fit. Like the grass texture here as default on the lot is really nice. I also pulled out some debug little grass bits. You saw me kind of pull them out in the front. That added a lot of depth, if you will, to the landscaping. It was very simplistic, and I think it ended up working just fine. After I got through the landscaping in the front yard, I felt pretty confident moving around the rest of the house, and I didn't even need the tool mod there. So go me, because I haven't not used the tool mod to landscape in like a year. I don't know, it's been a long time. But I'm just adding some terrain paint here, just adding some like dirt pathways, a little driveway here. That is just a debug truck. And then I think the other item, it's like the horse trailer or something like that. I think that's actually in the regular build by catalog, so you can pluck that out. I think your Sims can view it like it's a sculpture or something. I don't know. I also added some patches of prairie grass into the teeny tiny paddock in the back of this barn. Now again, your horses, you can train them to eat that. You can harvest it yourself, and I think when I had my Sim do that, he actually ended up finding some like nectar and stuff. It was kind of cool. So you can find things there. They bust out like a scythe and they just like chop at it. It was actually kind of surprising. I didn't expect that at all. But now we are moving on to the interior, which I did the floor plan off camera because, again, I was just figuring items out, trying to decide what I wanted to do, what I was really going to do style-wise, and it just seemed like less of a burden to figure out the floor plan on my own time and not record it. So sorry I didn't record it this time, but it is very simplistic. I knew I wanted it to be pretty open in the living spaces down here. I wanted a big open living room with this beautiful fireplace that we got with this pack. And then we've got this new rug, we've got the couch, the armchair. And I'll say this too, I primarily used the new pack for a majority of the furnishings in this house. I did not pack restrict myself especially because this is going to be the build that I use for my LP, and I want to just use all the packs that I have available to me. But I didn't pack restrict. I just ended up using a lot from the new pack. They're beautiful items, like that painting that I put above the fireplace. Actually, it's not a painting technically. It looks like it's stitched. I should be more specific. It looks like it's stitched, but it's really, really pretty. We've got these new flower arrangements, the rustic like rocking chair on the coffee table. It's just so pretty. And again, the textures are just chef's kiss. Chef's freaking kiss. And I know the team worked really, really hard on those textures. They look fantastic. I just can't sing them enough praises because it almost looks like, I think I said it in my Create-A-Sim video for my LP family that I put out late last week, like the day after the pack came out. They almost look alpha, but they're Maxis. Do you know what I mean? They're literally EA assets, but like they look like they could be on the verge of being alpha, but they're Maxis match enough, obviously, because they came from Maxis and EA. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but they look great. And we have matching swatches for pretty much everything, which is fantastic. This was also my very first time painting all of the ceilings, which I had not done yet, which came in a base game update. And I didn't think it was going to make that big of a difference, but it really did. It makes a room look so much more complete. You can really change the feel of a room. I was so thrilled. I painted every single ceiling in this house, and I think it's the exact same as the flooring that I chose. It just really, really brought the entire look together. I'm so glad that we could do that now. Like, I'm so happy we could do that because it really is a game changer, and I didn't think it was going to be. I really didn't. Also, since I didn't have the tool mod at this point, the clutter is somewhat minimal. I had to use some non-mod related tricks to kind of place certain items, but the clutter is fairly minimal because of that, but also because everything is so textured and has so much character to it that kind of draws the eye that I did not feel the need to overclutter. I think the patterns, not the clashing of patterns, but just the different patterns that are kind of working together with like the sofa cushions and the rug and this chair over at this beautiful desk. I didn't feel the need to add a ton of like artwork on the walls or add a ton of detail in general. I don't know. I really like this pack, you guys. Like, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do. It exceeded my expectations, number one. I'm going to say that. And granted, this is still just based off of completing a build with it and playing around with some of the gameplay specific to foals, not even horses and riding and training and competitions and stuff. But the foal animations, I cried. Like I cried. I'm not even a horse gal. Like, I cried. It was so cute. Everything was so fluid. It looked so real. They really, really knocked it out of the park with the horses, in my opinion, at least thus far from what I've seen. And the build and buy objects, like I'm saying, are just, they're stunning. They are some of the best build and buy objects I think we've ever received in a pack. Genuinely. I really do think that. I mean, I build. That's primarily what I do. And that's my opinion. You don't have to share it, but it's incredible. I'm really, really impressed with this pack. I think that if they maintain this level of like detail and attention, if there's more packs on the horizon, you know, if we've got years and years left of The Sims 4, I'm really excited to see what else they do because this one really knocked it out of the park for me. Anyway, we're working on the kitchen and the dining. So we do have this beautiful round dining table. We've got, 6 chairs, I think it is. Now, I think some of them won't necessarily be accessible with the things that I do add, but for my gameplay purposes, I only needed like 3 or 4 chairs to be accessible, and that was fine. So definitely just check that out if you have a bigger family living here. Oh, I didn't even mention, this is for a family of up to like 4 Sims because we have a primary bedroom downstairs, which we're working on right now. And then we've got 2 bedrooms upstairs, and then there's 2 bathrooms. We have like a 3/4 bath downstairs, and I think actually a 3/4 bath upstairs too. So downstairs has a shower, upstairs has a bathtub, because I wanted to use the new bathtub and shower that we got with this pack. But for the purposes of my LP, this is Wyatt's room. So he has the primary bedroom downstairs, and oh my gosh, this fireplace, you guys, I actually freaked out over this fireplace. I have been dying for a wood-burning stove in this game for so long. I had one that was, I think it was House of Harlex. I think it was a CC item that I had at one point. I am so thrilled we have one now. And you can see I put one in the kitchen/dining, and then I put one in the primary bedroom. Could you imagine how nice it would be to literally have the wood-burning stove going on like a cool winter night? Oh my gosh, I want a wood burning stove in my house. Actually, where I live, there's a lot of wood burning stoves in older houses. And this is my weird complaint because I am, number one, very, very, very fortunate and very lucky that my husband and I were able to buy a brand new construction house when we bought our house. It's our first house. Like, the stars aligned. Don't know how it worked out. But I will say, we looked at a ton of older houses for sale, and I loved them so much, especially the ones that have wood burning stoves in like common living areas, or at least even in like a half-finished basement, because those things will heat up your whole dang house. You could have one in the basement. It will keep your house so toasty. And I loved the idea. We stayed at an Airbnb at one point. It was almost at the Canadian border. It was like hours and hours and hours away. And we stayed there. It was on like a little lake. And there was a wood burning stove right outside of the bedroom. It was like this little cottage. We had that going at night. Oh my gosh, did I love it. I knew I was going to go on a rant about that dang fireplace. I knew I was going to do it because I love it so much. Anyway, I skipped over all of the clutter in the kitchen. I did that off camera just because, again, I was really futzing around with things and trying to discover all the new items that we had, what could work, what wouldn't work in certain spaces, and just trying to really decorate this entryway as well as the like the back entryway as well, because they were pretty big. They do have that computer. They have the piano, the new piano. And then here I just made a little like sitting area. I didn't really go nuts with decorations. I just wanted it to be fairly open, and I don't know, it's a big enough house. So I guess the entry area being this big isn't too off. I think if I were to make any changes, I might make the kitchen and dining a little bit bigger, but I don't quite know how I would do that exactly, because I really love the exterior of the house as well. I also added a few more details here and there, like in the living space. I added those hanging lights, well, sconces, because what do they do, everybody? Sconces save lives. Yes, they do. Yes, they do indeed. Now, this is going to be the downstairs bathroom. Originally, I was going to use the bathtub that came with this, but I did end up using the shower because I was thinking that because there was going to be a child and an infant upstairs, having a bathtub upstairs would make more sense. And since Wyatt's primary bedroom is downstairs on the first floor, having a shower just made sense for him as well. Now, we got almost an entire bathroom set with this new pack. We did not get a new toilet, but we got kind of that little like towel organizer thing. We got the shower, the bathtub, a sink, and just everything is so seamlessly beautiful. I just can't sing it enough praises. It really, really is stunning. Now, I know it's not everybody's aesthetic, and it's not everybody's like gameplay style, if you will. Like, you might not care about horses. You might really, really hate the aesthetic and the look of all these things. You might have zero interest in it, but objectively, everything is really, really beautiful, and it seems like they've done a fantastic job with the horses. But now we are on to the second floor. I pulled out all of the new beds that came with this pack to see which one I wanted to go for Evangeline's room. So as a reminder, this is Wyatt's oldest child. She is around like 8 years old, and she wants basically nothing to do with the ranch life per se. She would not be caught dead in cowgirl boots. She does not look like she lives in Chestnut Ridge, okay? Like, she wears beanies and like skater clothes and stuff like that. She wears darker colors, and she loves skateboarding, and she loves Star Wars. Like, literally loves Star Wars. So what I did in this particular build, because it was for my gameplay, you can adjust it if you see fit, but I put like a little shelf and I put a bunch of like Star Wars decorations and like toys and things on it to kind of just show what her interests are. I also put like a helmet over there on her bedside table, just things like that. But of course, like, her furniture is still very much Chestnut Ridge. Do you know what I mean? Like, her big wardrobe here, her bed and everything. She's got a few rugs in here, which I think are probably just left over from when, she was younger, and she doesn't really care about the rugs. It's more so about like her toys and posters and things. I don't know, just stuff like that. So I wanted there to be a way for this room to fit into the build itself, but still be customized to her interests and her likes and things like that. So it's a very bright room compared to how she dresses too, which I think is kind of interesting. Maybe she just doesn't care that much. That could kind of be it. Like, she doesn't really care. Yeah, I like that idea. We also have this new dollhouse that came with the pack. I sized it down twice because it was huge, and it works perfectly fine, which is fantastic. She also has a desk all to herself, which is great. I didn't add a computer or even like the journal from Parenthood. I just added a few decoration items, but you could have your child sim do homework up here, write in their journal, do whatever they'd like, whatever else they could do at a desk. You could give them a computer if you wanted to. And then I think I also give her the Don't Wake the Llama table, but it's the one with the Yeti from the, what's it called? The little campers kit. There we go. There we go. Little campers kit. I was just trying to play around with like different objects that, you know, kids can obviously use and things that would pertain to her interests. She's got like the little friendship bracelet kit thing, and then the dollhouse. You've got the teddy bear for like from Parenthood, which I think is like the empathy skill or whatever the heck it is. But I don't know, I really liked her space. It was customized, but still, like I said, really matches the house and the world and the entire setting, if you will. And it was kind of difficult to decorate at times because, again, I wanted it to be customized but also balanced, and it was kind of a pretty big room, actually. It was a pretty big bedroom, and that's something that I do like about this build. I mean, I like a lot of things about this build, and I'm biased because I did it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice. The bedrooms are a decent size. Even the nursery for little Levi, it is for an infant, by the way. If you didn't know, Levi is like a 7-month-old infant. I think I said 8-month-old in the Create a Sim video. 7 months old. Big whoop. Anyway, he's 7 months old. Even his room is at least a decent sized. You know, it wasn't like the crib and the changing table were really crammed inside of the room, you know, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was going to be too small, but it wasn't at all. And I also added an additional window to this room as well on the wall that the changing table is currently on, because I realized I had the ability to do that, and it seemed very closed off with just that singular window. So I added another one, which was great. And his nursery has kind of a green theme, I would say. Green is the primary color. There's touches of like blue and things like that in here. And there's also just some darker browns, which I really liked. I thought it was a nice combination, and I think it could grow with him as well. We've got, of course, the crib and the changing table. We've got like these little cube organizer things over here where I just put some like baby care essentials, which I thought was really nice. Now, when you do see this in my LP, I used custom content for the crib and the changing table that I think matches beautifully with this pack and the entire aesthetic. But for the purposes of putting this on the gallery, I wanted to use in-game items for all of you if you did want to download this. And I don't know, what else is there to say about this build? I didn't show the decoration of this landing area upstairs on the second floor. And that's pretty much it. I don't know. Oh, in the backyard, there's like a back porch where I put the new grill, a picnic table, and then there's a fire pit and stuff so they can do some other things outside. But I hope you all enjoyed this. I can't wait to keep building with this pack. I'm already working on a few other builds, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. And I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I look out across the water, I smell the salt, I feel the breeze, but in my heart I hear the calling of my old home, Tennessee. We don't know where these rivers flow, why the wind chooses when and where to blow. The sun is gonna rise each and every time, but I've still got Tennessee on my mind. From Reaper's Fork to Watertown, and maybe Johnson City or Memphis bound. No matter where I go, no matter what I see, I still hear the call